Hello, my name is Lisa Cuchara, and this is part of my application to speak at Imaging 2020. The title of my program is Create Fine Art Photographs from Historic Places and Rusty Things. Part of the take-home message of this program is the importance of having a personal project. You never know where it's going to take you. For example, Amherst Media asking us to be able to write this book. So one of the questions we get asked a lot is, what is fine art photography? So it's the opposite of photojournalism. It's not just taking kind of a single image and then kind of clicking and moving along. It's about kind of working a subject. So on the example on the left is just a single exposure. You could then start to be able to work it and create an HDR image, perhaps a little bit moody image. Or you could take it even one step further, as in this 77 stitched image. This is 77 images stitched together for a high dynamic range, HDR, panoramic image. So now we've gone just from a snapshot to something that's much more stylized with a 180-degree panoramic. But I didn't just stop there. I went to the next level. Philadelphia is below sea level. So with all this talk about climate change and global warming, what if it flooded? So now we have an image that has a lot of storytelling ability, make it more of a fine art image than just a photojournalistic image. Everything we've experienced up until the moment we trip the shutter influences our storytelling ability. The next picture shows that. At the end of the day, Tom showed this picture to the docent at the Penhurst Asylum. The docent also runs Halloween shows and scary shows, and he said, "Oh, you found the creepy doll. It's been missing for a while." And I had been looking at this image and thinking, oh, he found the Velveteen Rabbit. So a parent had sent off their child to the Penhurst Asylum with this doll. This doll was so well loved, its eye fell off. It was well loved and well adored. And I had seen this based on my background as the Velveteen Rabbit. So photography is not just about what you're photographing, but what storytelling and how you see things as you photograph them. Working the subject is really important, as is using a tripod and slowing down. This is at a penitentiary in West Virginia, and every one of the stalls had a sink in it that to me was an example of pareidolia, which is seeing faces in inanimate objects. So can you imagine spending the next 20 years of your life looking at that? So it's one of these things that fine art photography has to do with slowing down, seeing things, telling stories. And I love to be able to take people on programs and on workshops to be able to get them to enhance their storytelling abilities. You never know what's going to happen if you start to work a subject. So certainly seeing an old car sitting out in the woods kind of rotting and letting nature take over is interesting, but then getting closer and getting even closer. It can be a lot of fun to be able to just take pictures that have strong compositional elements as well as images that have strong color tones. So here we have the warm tones at the opposite end of the color wheel as the blue cool tones. So looking at ways to be able to make your images pop with color, with composition, with high dynamic range. So this next image here is a great example of life after humans. This recliner is on the second floor of a barn. And I can just imagine the gentleman of the house saying to his wife, "Dear, I'm going to work out in the barn." Meanwhile, he's sitting in his recliner, listening to his radio, and perhaps reading the newspaper. This image here is actually 7 images tone mapped in Adobe Camera Raw. If you'd just taken one exposure, the windows would have been white and blown out, and the wood would have been dark and there would have been no detail in here. My eye could see all of this detail, but our camera couldn't capture it, so I had to process using 7 different exposures and then tone mapping it in Adobe Camera Raw. And I'll do a demonstration of how easy it is to get these tone mapped images out to be able to see in your photographs what your brain and your eye can see. Photography is also about the light, so I have a lot of images demonstrating kind of the boring flat light, almost looks like a piece of paper, compared to the drama that we can get from light painting. Light painting is a way of getting images that have more of a Rembrandt-y feel to them. You can see over here the light is on the side, and you can see the detail of every rivet, of every shadow. The image pops more, it has saturation that is enhanced. You can also have fun in Photoshop creating fine art photographs. So when I saw this car door here, I decided to have some fun in Photoshop. I did a duplicate layer, mirror image, and then did filter, distort, polar coordinates, and now I have this bushy eyebrow character going on over here. So you can have a lot of fun straight out of camera and a lot of fun in Photoshop. And in this program, I like to be able to inspire people, motivate people to be able to see things in a new light. You never know what you're going to find, and you never know where it's going to take you. Thank you.